And okay, so thank you for the response. So at this evening, we'll be discussing about the Philippine Electrical Code, chapters 4 and 5, no? So medyo naikli-ikli lang yung ating discussion kasi dalawang chapter pinagsama natin. Kasi yung laman naman ng mga chapter are all yung sa chapter 4 pare-pareho lang yung mga standards no pertaining to all equipments no for general use. May highlight ko lang dito yung mga pagkakaiba nila no but all other standards is also applicable to the other. Tapos yung naman yung chapter 5 are all about special occupancies no. So mamaya malalaman natin kung ano yung mga special occupancies. Okay? So let's begin with chapter 4, no? Equipments for general use. Okay? So dito muna tayo sa ating table, no? Ito pala, no? So table dito. Hindi ko ulit. So dito pa tayo sa So for the luminaire, no? Fixture luminaire natin na ating mga ilaw, no? So ang pwede natin gamitin na size ng wire is only ang pinakamaliit. So this is the minimum, no? So hindi na pwedeng bumaba sa size na to. That is 0.75 square mm or if that is a solid wire, ang kanyang diameter is 1.2 millimeter. Okay? Tapos ang marking, so dapat thermoplastic insulated, no? Kanyang insulation na may mark at intervals not exceeding 600 millimeters or 60 centimeter or 0.6 meter. So all other fixture wire shall be marked by means of pre-painted tack attached to the coil or the reel. And so this is the standard for fixture wires. Okay, for switches, so the grip of the operating handle of switches or circuit breaker is not more than 1,980 mm above the floor or working platform, no? So yung kanyang toggle, no? That is hindi siya lalagpas ng 1,980 mm above the floor or working platform. So yung finished floor. So yan yung kanyang height, no? So the mounting of snap switches or the switches itself kapag surface type shall not be mounted on insulating materials that separate the conductors at least 13 mm from the surface wired over. Kapag box naman, yung flushed, so shall be mounted in boxes installed so that the extension plaster or ears are setted against the surface. No? So, ang ibig sabihin nito, for example, this is your open tayo. No? If this is your surface, no? Ito yung wall mo. Yung box mo, yung utility box mo, yung mismong labi ng yung utility box, hindi siya dapat naka-level to sa ating surface ng ating wall, kundi upo ng konti, no? So that is to prevent our box na talagang ma-push, no, sa ilalim ng ating wall. So that kapag naglagay tayo ng ating ng ating switches then it will be also naka-flush din siya, no? Ugbo din siya ng konti sa ating wall surface, no? Kasi kapag sinabi kasing flush, sabi embedded, no? Nakalibing, hindi siya nakalibing. Yung ating mismong gang plate, no? Ay dapat nasa siya, naka-flush siya sa surface or nakadikit sa surface, hindi ka-level ng surface ng ating wall, no? So kaya may tatawag itong extension ng plaster ears. So ito. So seated against the surface. Okay. So isolation switches, so 1,200 amperes at 250 volts or less, and at over 600 volts at 251 to 600 volts, no? So yung isolation switches natin, it should be rated 1,200 amperes at 250 volts or less. Kapag lumagpas naman ng 600 amperes, so dapat ang kanyang voltage is between 251 volts to 600 volts. So the total interrupt current for our switches, no, if our switches has an overcurrent protection, so 1,200 amperes at 250 volts or less, or kapag naman 600 amperes, so 251 to 600 volts. Okay. So rating used for snap switches. So ito yung mga ratings niya. So alternating current for general use, no? So resistive and inductive load kasama yung ating mga discharge lamp. Kapag tungsten filament naman, hindi pwedeng mag-pass ng 115 volts. Kapag motor loads ang kanyang pinoprotect o kanyang nakakonect sa kanya, so that dapat not exceeding 80% of the ampere rating or the full load rating of our motor, no? The alternating current, direct current for general use, no? So resistive load pwede siya. Then if that is purely inductive load not exceeding 50%. Kapag tungsten naman filament, no? The voltage must not exceed 115 volts. Yan. Okay, so coaxial, no? Aluminum cable snap switches, so rated 20 amperes or less directly connected to aluminum conductors. Kapag dimmer switch naman shall not be used only to control permanently installed incandescent luminaire. No? So it should be only used no for uh, to control no permanently installed. Hindi pwede yung mga temporarily installed na mga ilaw, no? Ito yung for the dimmer switch. Okay. So receptacles, cord connectors, and attachment plugs. So this should be the ratings of our receptacles, no? So it should be rated not less than 15 amperes for 125 or 15 amperes for 250 volts and shall be a type not suitable for use as lamp holders, no? So receptacles for aluminum conductors shall be rated 20 amperes or less and designed for direct connection of aluminum conductors and shall be marked copper aluminum combination na receptacles. Okay. So receptacle mounting, pwede siya boxes that are set back, no? So yung yoke natin yung mismong butas no sa ating outlet. So pwede din siya naka-flash, no? Ganun pa rin. So it must be rigidly held at the finished surface. Pwede din may cover. So ganun pa rin dapat rigidly held, no? Tapos position of the receptacle faces, kung flash, no? Project at a minimum of 0.38 mm no from the metal faceplate, no? So nakaugpo siya ng 0.38 mm. Receptacles on the countertop shall not be installed in a face up position. So what we may face up position? So for example, if you have a countertop tapos lalagyan mo ng switches diyan. So dapat di siya naka-face up so that walang pumasok doon ng mga moisture or tubig. If exposed yung terminals, it must be enclosed so that the live wiring terminals are not exposed to contact. Okay. Next, receptacle faceplate, yung mga cover plate natin, yung gang plate natin. So if that is ferrous metal, so it must be 0.75 mm thick. If that is a non-ferrous metal, so dapat 1.0 mm thick. So kunyari, this is aluminum yung ating faceplate or a plastic. So ang kanyang thickness must be 1.0 mm. Kapag naman, kapag ferrous naman, no, yung mga cast iron, so it must be 0.75 mm thick, no? Then the grounding, so the metal faceplate shall be grounded. So if our faceplate are metallic, so it should be always grounded, no? So banded siya dun sa ating metal box or may sarili siyang wire which connects to the grounding electrode. Okay? And next, the faceplate insulating material shall be non-combustible, not less than 0.25 mm. No? So permitted to be less than 0.25 mm if formed or reinforced to provide adequate mechanical strength. So the minimum thickness is 0.25 unless it is made na meron siyang additional reinforcement for mechanical strength. So pwede siyang bumaba sa 0.25 mm. So yung ating faceplate of insulating materials. Okay. So switchboards and panel boards natin. So supports and arrange of bus bars and conductors. So overheat and inductive effects shall be avoided. So that's why our bus bars must be properly spaced para hindi siya mag-cause ng lost contact at maging pag-increase ng temperature, no? Shall be installed with a main banding if used as service equipment. Tapos, if that is three-phase, the phase arrangement of our buses or our bus bar shall be A, B, C. No? So that is the positive sequence. Kasi meron kasing ibang arrangement which is CPA. No? That is the negative sequence. Pero the standard that we are going to use is the ABC na sequence. Okay. Switchboard. No? So switchboard natin, our panel board. So the clearance from the ceiling shall not be less than 900 mm. So kunyari, if this is our ceiling, this is the top of our this is our panel board. Ito yung top natin. So dapat hindi yan bababa ng 90 cm or 900 mm. Okay. So the location of the switchboard, so saan ilalagay yung ating switchboard, shall be located in permanently dry. No, ito yung pinaka main point ng standard to. Dry location, and then where competence supervision and accessible to only licensed electrical practitioner. Yan. Okay. Next. So panel boards, no? So to be classified as a lighting appliance circuit panel board, so the overcurrent protection of ang laman niya na breaker must be 30 amperes or less. Tapos shall have 10% of its overcurrent devices is used, no, to protect lighting and appliance branch circuit. So ang tawag doon is LP or the lightning panel board or the lightning appliance branch circuit panel board. So ang kanyang mga overcurrent na sa loob is 30 pababa. Tapos 10% of those panel of those breakers are the main breakers or the branch circuit breakers for the lighting and appliance branch circuit. Kapag power panel board naman, so if 10% or fewer, so mababa, overcurrent must protect lighting or appliance branch circuit. So mostly nagiging power panel board siya kapag sobrang dami na ng nagiging power panel board siya kapag halos lahat ng nasa loob ng ating panel board are all for the HVAC or the aircon na mga loads or the ranges na mga loads. So hindi na siya purely lighting, no? So tinatawag natin siyang power panel. Okay? Next. So number of overcurrent devices, no? So in one panel board for single, it will be 42, for two pole 21, for three pole 14. Yan, no? So kapag ang yung mga breaker na ilagay is single pole, so 42, sa two pole will be 21, and for three pole 14. So para madali tandaan, ito lang gawin natin. So single 42, kapag two pole divide mo ng 2 magiging 21. Tapos kapag three pole naman yung 42, i-divide mo ng 3 magiging 14. Yan. Okay. So overcurrent protection. So lighting and appliance branch circuit panel board individually protected, no? Shall have not more than 2 main breakers or 2 sets of fuses, no? Kapag yung sa ating lighting. Kapag power panel naman, it shall be protected of an overcurrent device which is not greater than the size of the protection for the panel board, no? So dapat yung mismong niya, yung mismong pinaka-main niya, no, shall not be oversized, no, greater the size to the overall busbar rating ng ating panel board. Kapag snap switches rated at 30 amperes or less shall have an overcurrent protection of 200 amperes or less. If it is supplied to a transformer, no, it shall have an overcurrent protection on the secondary side of our transformer. When we say delta breakers, so these are breakers connected in delta, it should not be installed in panel boards, no? Tapos backfeed devices, no, yung ating mga device na yung kanyang termination ay nasa likod, shall be secured in a place by an additional fastener. So that is to securely fasten our backfeed na mga devices, no? Kasi kadalasan kasi kapag likod ng ating device, so that is used to fix, no? Para ma-fix yung mga mga devices doon sa likod, no? Okay? Pero kapag backfeed siya, so nandun ang kanyang terminal sa likod, so you must have no another set of fasteners no to securely fasten our back feed devices. Okay, so panel. So the panel must be made of moisture resistant non-combustible material. Then the bus bar must be insulated or it could be bare. Pero kapag bare, so dapat meron siyang proper spacing or may spacer. And it should be rigidly mounted, no? Hindi siya ano na nagagalaw, no? If there is a vibration, hindi siya gumagalaw, no? In the protection of instrument circuit, no? For example, our indicating circuit for our motor controllers, no? So instrument pilot lights, potential transformers or other switchboard devices with potential coil shall be protected at 50 amperes or less. So, hindi pwede na magpass ng 50 amperes, no? Kaya ngayon sa ating control circuit, sa ating motor control, so usually, the main of that one is 15 amperes or less. So, hindi siya pwede na magpass ng 15 amperes. So, we have here the Industrial Control Panel, or the ICP. That is an assembly of a systematic and standard arrangement of two or more components such as motor controllers. So, kasama yung ating motor controller sa loob ng ating ICP, overload relays, fuse disconnects, switches, circuit breakers, and related control devices such as push button stations, selector switch, timers, switches, control relays, and the like, and associated wiring, terminal block, pilot, and similar component. So the industrial control panel does not include the controlled equipment. So for example, if you have a certain panel na nandoon na yung motor controllers mo, nandoon yung mga indicating lights mo, pati yung kanyang the protection for your motor, no, the overload and the overcurrent protection, kasama din na protection doon sa ating controllers or the control circuit. So that will be considered as a industrial control panel. So the minimum size and ampacity of your control panel shall be rated 125% of the full load current ng equipment na kaniyang kinokontrol. No? So usually, ang kinokontrol to is motor. So the full load current of the motor that is being controlled. Then we have luminaires, so lighting fixtures, lamp holders, and lamp. So the luminaires in specific locations. So wet and damp locations pala, no, shall be made so that water cannot enter. No? It shall be marked suitable for wet locations. So dapat ito yung marking, no? Sa mismong fixtures or sa mismong lamp holder or suitable for damp location. Kapag corrosion resistance naman shall be a type suitable for such locations. So usually if you have a lamp holder for corrosive environment, so dapat if either it is a porcelain or made up of plastic, no? Tapos in ducts or hoods, the temperature limits in the area shall be not exceeded, no? Tapos the material shall be excluded from vapor, grease, oil, cooking vapors, and shall be corrosion resistant also. And bathtub and shower areas, no, sa ating CR, no, no lighting fixture cord suspended. So hindi pwede yung nakasuspend, no, or parang yung mismong wire lang yung nakababa, no? Suspended, no? Light tracks or pendants or ceiling suspended fans within 900 mm horizontally and 2,400 mm vertically from the top of the bathtub or shower stall threshold. So kunyari ito yung bathtub nyo, no? Yan. So mula sa ating bathtub, so dapat yung ilaw natin is within the 900 mm. So dapat walang walang ilaw diyan, no? There is no suspended yung nakalawit lang, no, na ilaw. So if in case may ilaw man, dapat tawag doon, naka-bolt doon siya sa ating mismong ceiling. Hindi pwede yung lang. Tapos yung height, no, yung height niya must not be less than 2,400 mm. Yan. Ito yung mahalaga, no? The 2,400 mm. Okay, so Luminaire fixtures near or over combustible material. So luminaires near combustible material shall not be subject to temperatures in excess of 90 degrees Celsius and shall be located at 2,400 mm above the floor and so guarded that it cannot be damaged. No? Yan. Okay, so luminaire fixtures in closed closets, yun nasa loob ng ating mga closets, no? So ito yung mga different types. So we have the surface mounted na permitted, no? Resist, pwede din surface mounted or resist na fluorescent. Pwede din, ito pala yung mga not permitted, so incandescent, no? With open or partially enclosed lamp, tapos pendant lighting, at tapos yung naka-lamp holder. So usually it must be closed, no? Closed. So clearance permitted for different luminaires. So kapag surface mounted siya na incandescent luminaire, 300 mm. Kapag surface mounted na fluorescent luminaire, 150. Walang plato ng mm. Kapag resist naman, 150 na incandescent. Tapos fluorescent, 150 din. Is the clearance from your, kapag nasa taas siya, no? So the clearance from the nearest, no, the nearest na damit, no? So that is 30 mm or 300 mm or 150 mm. Okay. So wiring of luminaires, no? So luminaires shall have the same polarity of the screw shells of the lamp and circuit terminals, no? Kaya dito yung sasabi na saan yung ground sa ating lamp holder, saan yung neutral sa lamp holder or the line 2 at saan din yung live wire, no? So dapat yun yung split. The dependent conductors for incandescent filament lamp shall be the following. The size shall comply with the following. So kapag mogul ang base, so ito yung kanyang wire, no? Conductors. So shall not be smaller than 2.0 square mm. So kapag intermediate or candelabra base naman na lamp holder, so it will depend on the base, no? So 0.75 square mm or 1.0 mm diameter. So twisted or cabled, no? Na natin pendant conductors natin. So it shall be longer than 900 mm, no? So shall be twisted together para magkaroon siya ng additional, no, tensile strength. Kapag kasi siya pendant siya tapos two wire tapos lang parang hindi natin tinwist yung dalawang wire so hindi siya magkakaroon ng additional strength, no? Kapag tinwist kasi natin magiging parang as one siya so hindi siya madaling maputol. Okay? Then branch circuit conductors and ballast, no? So branch circuit conductor shall be within 75 mm from the ballast with temperature rating not lower than 90 degrees Celsius. Kapag yung lighting track naman natin, no? So ito tingin ko napasama din to sa definition natin last time, no, for chapter 1. So it is a manufactured assembly to design, support, and energize luminaire or lighting fixtures that are capable of readily reposition on the track. So it can be altered by the addition or subtraction of section tracks. Yan. So appliances. So the very common na standard, so shall not be less than 125% of the mark rating for motor-operated appliances. So for aircon is a motor-operated appliances, so it shall not be less than 125%, no? Ang kanyang rating, no? So kapag naman, kapag hindi naman siya pwede less than 100% of the mark rating if the loading is continuous. Yan. This is for if your appliances is not a motor operated appliances, no? So if yung ating appliances is continuous ang kanyang gamit, so the demand factor is dapat 100%. Okay. So overcurrent protection for household type appliances, no? So with a maximum demand of not more than 60 amperes, it must have two or more secret circuits for power supply with protection rated not over 50 amperes, no? So yung ating appliances pala hindi pwede na yung ating isang circuit ng ating appliances is lumagpas ng 50 amperes ang kanyang protection, no? Infrared lamp commercial, so it should not also exceed 50 amperes. for single non-motor operated appliances. So ang kanyang computation ng kanyang rating shall not exceed the nameplate rating and also shall not exceed 20 ampere rating if the current is 13.3 or less ang kanyang nameplate rating. So hindi siya pwedeng lumagpas ng 20 amperes. Okay. So the marking for heating cable, no? Yung mga sa ating heat and ventilation natin. So if 120 volts nominal, the color must be yellow. 208 volt nominal, blue. 240 volt, that will be red. 277 volt, that will be brown. And 480 volt, that will be orange. Yan. Okay. So the clearance of wiring in ceilings. So wiring shall not be less than 50 mm above the heated ceiling, no? So hindi siya pwedeng bumaba ng 150 mm with the ambient temperature of 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, then you have motor circuits and controllers. Ito yung mga definition ng iba't ibang mga part ng isang motors and motor controllers. So they have the adjustable speed drive, so a combination of power converter, motor, and motor mounted auxiliary device. No, so it is commonly used for application, no, of driving, no, driving a certain apparatus, no. The motor control circuit, the MCC, so dito yung nakalagay yung ating mga motor controllers. The system isolation equipment, so this is used, no, to isolate or to turn off, no, your motors, including the controller itself, in case there is an emergency that will happen. Okay. Then we have the part winding transformer. So yung ating transformer, so it must be energized first in the primary, no? So doon talaga sa primary kasi tawag na primary. And the remainder is winding in one or more steps. So one half of its primary can be energized initially and the other halves in one or more step. Kapag yung atin namang transformer is used for hermetic na compressor, no? So it shall not be considered as standard na part winding started na induction motor. Okay? So the ampacity and the motor rating of your motors, no? So the general motor appliances, if hindi nyo alam kung ano yung pinaka-speed niya, hindi nakalagay sa nameplate. So the standard is not di siya pwedeng bumaba ng 1,200 RPM. So it could be high speed, low torque with lower full load current. Pwede din low speed, high torque with higher full load current. Tapos yung torque motors natin, no, the rated current shall be the lock rotor current. No? These motors are used for yung talagang mabibigat na mga rotational application. So that's why its rated current, its full load current shall be the one that is considered as the lock rotor current. Okay. So ano yung mga markings na makikita sa ating motor at multi-motor equipment? So sa kanyang nameplate, dapat nandun yung manufacturer's name, rated volts and full load current, yung rated frequency at number of phases if that is an AC motor, the rated full load speed, the temperature rise on the insulation, tapos ang setting ng kanyang time. No, that is for Y delta starting or for auto transformer starting. So ito yung dapat nakikita sa ating nameplate. Okay. Kasama pa din dito yung kanyang rated horsepower if 1,800 HP or more. So yung pinakababa kasi sa motor is 1.8, no, 1.8 HP. Then the cold letter or lock rotor amperes if an alternating current. Tapos yung design niya sa kanyang motor, either B, C, or D. Tapos yung voltage, no? If that is a one rotor induction motor. The field current and voltage for the DC excited kapag synchronous motor. Yung winding natin, either that is straight shunt, stabilized, compound, or series. Kapag fractional siya, no, DC motor, so 180 mm or less in diameter shall not be required to be marked. Thermal protection, so either siya, if is it thermal protected kapag The shortcut shall be TP. Kapag impedance protected naman, so may ZP tayo. Okay, tapos if your motor is equipped with electrically powered ventilation, no, that is to maintain sa nameplate ng ating motor ang kanyang rated heater voltage, the number of phase and the power in watts. Okay, so the markings on our motor. So the terminal shall be marked or colored if necessary. Now, conductor shall be connected with copper unless otherwise identified. Now, sa torque naman niya sa ating terminals, the torque requirements is 0.8 Newton meter. So, for screw type, pressure terminals with 2.0 square mm or 1.6 diameter na terminal niya na na laki ng terminal hole. Yan. So, ito yung minimum, no? So, pwede pang tumaas to depending on the horsepower of the motor. Okay. So single motor, no, selection of branch circuit conductors. In general, ito pa rin pinaka-common 125%. Kapag multi-speed naman na motor, so the highest full load current rating shall be shown on the motor template. No, kung multi-speed, ibig sabihin meron siyang slow, medium, tapos slow, medium, high, no? So kung alin yung pinakamataas na full load current, yun yung ilalagay. No, it will not depend on ano yung low, ano yung medium, ano yung high. Yung sa tatlong load, kung alin yung pinakamataas na load current, yun dapat yung ilalagay sa nameplate ng motor. Kapag Y delta naman starting na motor, so the conductor shall primary resistor. So that should be always 50% ang pag-compute ng conductors para doon sa first three na napapunta sa main conductor at sa ibang sa ibang side, which is also another 50%. So other than continuous duty, so conductors for a motor use in short time, intermittent, periodic, or varying duty application shall have capacity not less than the motor nameplate current rating o yung full load rating ng ating motor. So separate terminal enclosure, conductors between a stationary motor rated 1 HP or less shall be permitted to be smaller than 2.0 square mm or 1.0 mm in diameter. Pero dapat yung pinaka mababa talaga natin na wire is hindi siya bababa sa 0.75 square mm na wire or conductor for our motor, as long as the rating is 1 HP or less, no? Okay, so rating for continuous duty motors, ito na pagdaanan natin to, no, the computation for our OL, no, overload device. So more than 1 horsepower, ito yon 125% if the service factor is 1.15 or greater. 125% if the temperature rise is 40 degrees. Na ito makikita din dito sa ating nameplate ng ating motor. If wala sa dalawang condition na to, so you will apply 115%. No, that is all other motors na hindi nag-meet sa itong dalawang criteria. Okay, so thermal protector. So this is a part of the motor, no? Pwede siya nakaseparate. So 170% if your full load current is 9 amperes or less. 150%, 156% pala if the full load current is 9.1 to 20 amperes. Tapos 140% if the full load current is greater than 20 amperes. Integral with the motor. So the overload relay or the overload protection shall protect the motor against damage due to failure to start, no? Kapag larger, so this is the selection for overload relay for this type of motor, itong mga motor na 1 horsepower or less. Okay. So automatic restarting, hindi pwede kasi what if during the operation na nag-trip siya, tapos mag-start agad, hindi pa natin naayos yung sira, no? Or yung fault, no? So maaring either yung mismong technician is madisgrasya o yung mismong motor natin is talagang masunog na siya. Okay, next. Okay, so these are the lock rotor indicating cold letters, no? So yan. So ito yung mga kilovolt amperes or the kVA per horsepower of our rotor, no? Yan. So ang pinakataas na cold letter is V, which is 22.4 kVA per horsepower. So kunyari 3 horsepower, no? Tapos cold letter U ay V pala, V. So that is 22.4, no? Tapos 3 horsepower siya, ita-times mo pa siya ng 3. So that is to get yan 22.4 times 3. So ano ba yan sa calculator natin? So 20 po, so 66 plus 1.2, so 67.2, no? Ang kanyang ano is 67.2. So 67 siya 67.2 kVA, no? Yan. So 67.2 kVA. So to get the lock rotor current, i-divide mo lang kung ano yung kanyang system voltage. If that is 230, so divide to 30 at makukuha mo na yung lock rotor current ng iyong motor, which is ang kanyang code letter is letter P. No? Okay. So maximum rating or single setting, ito, naibigay ko na nito, no? Yung sa ating table. Kung nakadepende sa klase ng motor at sa klase ng kanyang overload current device, no? So kung ilang percentage yung i-multiply mo sa kanyang full load current. Okay. So ito naman yung mga types of enclosure for our motors and other type of devices, no? So itong nasa taas, these are the protection, no? So, ito yung mga NEMA natin. So NEMA 3 to NEMA 6P, no? So this is against the following degree of protection. So usually ito is for outdoor. So ito naman is for indoor, no? So yan. Ito yung outdoor use, ito yung indoor use. So sa indoor use, sa outdoor use pala walang NEMA 1 at NEMA 2. Direct siya sa NEMA 3. For indoor use naman, walang NEMA 3. Yan. Okay? So itong X, so X is para siya sa tawag doon, sa incidental contact tapos rain and snow. So itong RX, so yan, no? Ito yung kanyang iba't ibang mga applications. So kung alin yung may X dito, kunya itong yung medyo malakas-lakas na snow, no? Tapos windblown dust, meron siya. Hose down, no? Yung talagang directly na natamaan ng tubig na galing sa hose yung yung enclosure mo, so wala din siya. Corrosive agents, wala siyang protection, so maaari siyang kalawangin, no? Temporary submersion, no? So inibabad sa tubig sandali or pwede din prolong. So wala siyang protection for that one. So ganito tong paggamit ng table na to. Yan, no? Baka biglang umanda. Okay, next. So disconnecting means for our motors. So controller must have individual disconnecting means. So bawat controller dapat may sariling disconnecting means. Tapos yung motor natin, the location of our disconnecting means for our motor, kunwari yung ating knife switch or yung ating breaker shall be located inside, no? So ibig sabihin nun, yung breaker mo dapat nakikita mo din yung motor. Yan. So the purpose of that one is to make sure na kapag pinatay mo yung breaker, yung motor mo talaga nag-i-stop. In the operation, the disconnecting means shall open all the ungrounded conductors of your motor and shall be designed so that no pole can be operated independently. Kunyari, 3-pole yung motor mo, dapat yung breaker mo is 3-pole din. Kapag yung toggle is in-off mo, yung tatlong phase o yung tatlong terminal, nag-off din yun. And tapos, readily accessible, it shall have at least one of the disconnecting means be readily accessible, no? Yung inside tapos madali siyang ma-access. So types of disconnecting means for motors. So for the motor circuit switch, yung ating normal na on-off na motor switch, molded case circuit breaker, pwede molded case circuit breaker, pwede instantaneous tape circuit breaker, or self-protected combination controller, pwede din manual motor control, system isolation equipment. Kapag 1/8 or less, so pwede na yung breaker natin mismo na nagpo-protect for the overcurrent. Kapag auto transformer type for 2 horsepower to 100 horsepower, so pwede mayroon siyang auto transformer na disconnecting means. Yes, pwede knife switch as long as the rating of your terminal of your knife switch is 125% of the motor full load current. Yan. So, pwede siya, no? Pwede na kasi ang disconnecting means is ang kaniyang purpose is not to trip if your motor is nag-short circuit, no? Ang tra- ang nagtitrip if your motor will be short circuit is the overcurrent protective device. No, the OCPD, no? Yan yung pinaka breaker na ang rating niya is kukunin natin sa table na yung may 300% sa full load rating. The disconnecting means is just a switch, no? So as long as kaya niyang makarry yung full load current, 125% of the full load current of your motor. So pwede mong gamitin kahit breaker ba 'yan, kahit knife switch ba 'yan, no? So pwede. The standard kasi is dapat if your motor is 1/8 horsepower above, so dapat separate yung overload mo o yung OL mo iba siya na device, yung overcurrent device mo iba din siya na device, tapos yung disconnecting means mo iba din na device. So meaning may tatlo kang devices for that one. If that is 1/8 horsepower above. If less, so pwede isa lang, no? All in one. Yan. Oh, itong session is also recorded, no? No problem on that. Record po to. Okay? Next. The ampere rating and the interrupting capacity shall not be less than 115% of full load current for motors. No, ang rated niya is 600 volts nominal. No, if your motor is 600 volts, so 115 yung ampere rating. No? Yun. So yun din yung hindi na na talagang hindi nasunod, no? But usually meron na yung tinatawag nating emergency stop sa ating motor, tawag doon sa ating MCC, no? It could be considered as a disconnecting means. Yung ating kulay pula na stop, no? So kasi kapag yun yung pinindot natin, that will automatically turn off, no, the motor, no? But if sa standard talaga, so dapat naka-separate, no? So hindi siya nakalagay dun sa mismong MCC natin, but it is on site, no? Inside, kapag in-off mo yung disconnecting means nakikita mo yung motor, no? So, ang nangyari kasi kapag sinunod talaga lahat na to, so also the cost will be kapag nasa lang, kapag meron ng emergency stop, so it is already uh, considered as a disconnecting means kasi yung emergency stop hindi yan basta-basta na tawag doon na nare-reverse, no, or na-on ulit, no, using the other button for go, no, kasi meron siyang sariling locking mechanism. Yan, parang iniikot pa yan so that it will you could turn on again your um, motor, no. Yan, no, parang service breaker. Yan, service breaker yung ibang tawag yan, lalo-lalo na if you are having the maintenance, no? So, yan yung disconnecting means. Ang purpose ng plug yan is a switch to disconnect your motor from the supply. Yan. Okay, next we have switch or circuit breaker as both controller and disconnecting means. So, ito, kapag ginamit na yung dalawa, no, all in one na. So, it must be air brake switch, no, shall be operable by hand and on lever or handle. No? So, kaya pwede yung ating breaker. Tapos, another, it must be inverse time circuit breaker, which could be operated by hand, manually or through tripping, yung mismong nagtitrip siya. So kaya pwede yung breaker gamitin as a disconnecting means. Kapag ang ginamit is snipe switch, so dapat meron kang separate na device for overcurrent protection. Okay. Kapag oil switch, so the rating shall not exceed 600 volts or 100 amperes. Okay, so ito, meron na kayong copy dito, the followed current for each type of motors, no, depending on it is a single phase, two phase, or three phase, no. May copy na kayo dito sa sa table, no, na binigay ko dati. Yan. So we'll just browse through this one, no. Okay. Now we go to air conditioning and refrigeration equipment. So ito yung mga different type of yung mga definitions, no, for hermetic refrigerant motor compressor. So consists of a compressor and a motor, both of which are enclosed in the same housing with no external shut that senses leakage current through and between or from the cord conductors and interrupts the circuit at a predetermined level of leakage current. So this is usually put, no, nilagay natin sa ating ating mga air conditioning equipment because this is usually prone, no, prone yung mga gitong sa leakage current, no. So kaya ito nilagay yung LCDI, no. And usually it is already integrated doon sa ating OL ng ating compressor. Yan. So branch circuit conductors for this type of equipment, yung mga motor compressor. So ganon, no, 125%. So the usual, ang pinakaiba lang if your motor compressor is Y start delta run. If it is just a motor, no, normal na motor, that is 56%. Overload current device in one conductor only. No, ang kadalasan kasi na 2Y generator, that is puro siya live, no. Pwede lang isa yung lagyan mo ng overload protective device, yung isang linya lang ikat, no. 65 or less shall be protected to not deliver more than 150% of the full load current. So kapag 65 or less ang kanyang voltage, so dapat hindi lalagpas ng 150% ang kanyang i-deliver na current, no, na kanyang full load current. Balancer sets, if you are having a generator which is usually connected in parallel, so ito yung balancer. Overcurrent shall be installed, one for each armature lead capacity, but for generator 115%. Okay. So kapag sa transformer naman tayo, no? So these are the maximum rating setting of the overcurrent protection of our transformer. Okay, so naka-table na to siya, no? So that will be easier to understand, no? Or para kasi nakadepende kasi sa iba't ibang condition, no? So the setting of the the transformer, kanyang overcurrent protection, kunyari yung primary lang yung lalagyan natin ng overcurrent protection. So if the current exceeds 9 amperes or more, that will be 125%, no, of the rated current. Kapag naman less, no, less than 9 amperes, so that is 167%. Kapag less than 2 amperes, 300%. Sa primary naman, primary at secondary yung may protection, so ito din yung kanyang rating, no, na kanyang setting ng kanyang overcurrent protection, no. Kapag secondary yung protection, so ito din 125, 160, 167%. Okay. So auto transformer, so 600 volts, nominal or less, no, it shall be protected by an OCD not less than 125%, no. So for transformer na auto transformer, that is 125%. Tapos yung kanyang secondary tie must be at 600% nominal or less between phases, ang kanyang voltage between the secondary part of your auto transformer. Okay, the marking na makikita sa ating transformer. So manufacturer's name, frequency, the secondary and the primary voltage, the rated kVA, tapos dapat meron siyang sariling impedance if 100. Okay, next we have doorway, no? So doorways, no, for our transformer volt, no, shall be fire rating also of 3 hours. Tapos ang kanyang seal has a height of not less than 100 mm. Tapos if na, may lock siya, so room shall be keep locked and only licensed practitioner is allowed inside. The ventilation naman, so the equation as far as possible from doors, windows, fire escape, and combustible materials. So the size of the ventilation, no, the combined area and the opening must be uh, 1,000 mm per kVA, no, square mm per kVA, and not less than 1 square meter for any capacity under 50 kVA. Then the coverings, so covered by a durable grating, screens, or louvers. The dampers must be automatic closing fire dampers with a fire rating of not less than 1.5 hours. So the duct shall be constructed as fire resistant. Okay. Then the drainage, no, mag-provide ng tayo ng drainage for 100 kVA transformer, no, capacities that will carry off any accumulation of oil or water inside the vault. Water pipes and accessories, so no pipe or duct system shall enter the transformer vault. No, walang papasok na piping system for the plumbing or for the ventilation na ducting. No? So piping for vault fire protection or for transformer cooling is allowed. So the only piping that is allowed is para doon sa transformer, but the piping is for plumbing, hindi siya pwede. Storage in vaults, the material should not be installed in the transformer vault. So hindi pwedeng gawing storage room yung mismong transformer vault. Next, we have the capacitors. So capacitors containing more than 11 liters or 3 gallons of flammable liquid shall be enclosed in vaults or outdoor fence enclosure. No? So ito. So if you have a capacitor bank tapos lagpas na ng 11 liters ang kanyang fluid, no? So it must be enclosed in a vault or kapag nasa labas must be fins, no? May barcode. Okay. 600 volts or nominal under. So the time of discharge of your voltage. So if the voltage is 50 volts or nominal or less, must be within 1 minute after the capacitor is discharged or disconnected. 1 minute. Ito yung minimum. No? Ito pala yung maximum. No? The conductors, the ampacity of our conductor for the capacitor must be 135%. So yung sa generator, magkano? Ilang percent yung para sa generator? Pakiano sa chat. Ilang percent yung conductor for generator? So, dun sa mga nakaalala, no? Pakiano sa chat. Okay. So for generator, that is 115%, no? For the motors is 125%. So kapag sa capacitor naman, 135%. In the disconnecting means, so ganun pa rin ang rating ng kanyang terminals, no? Is 135%. Tapos meron tayong marking, no? So yung marking sa ating capacitor, dapat makikita yung manufacturer's name, the rated frequency, the rated kilovar, or the rated amperes. So for 600 volts nominal, so ganun pa rin, yung kanyang conductor is 35%. Tapos meron siyang sariling interrupting for the maximum current. Yan. So the identification is same pa rin, no? For this type of capacitor. Tapos if there is a residual voltage, so dapat ma-discharge siya within 5 minutes after the capacitor is disconnected. Yung kanina is only 1 minute for 600 volts. Kapag lumagpas na ng 600 volts ang capacitor, 5 minutes ang kaniyang discharge time, no? Maximum discharge time. Okay, so resistors and reactors. So this is for your resistors use, no? Power resistors or power reactors or inductors. Okay, so 600 volts or less, so must have a thermal barrier within 300 mm of any combustible material. Over, so 305 mm or 12 inches from combustible material. The conductor must be rated not less than 90 degrees Celsius. Gagamitin na conductor. Okay, for storage battery, no? So ito pala ang kapag reactors, no, resistors, no, parang heating element din 'yan. So the demand factor will be always 100%, no? Storage batteries, so lead acid, so that is 2 volt per cell. Kapag alkaline naman 1.2 volt per cell. Sealed cell or battery, so this is a group of cells that is sealed, no, with an external way to measure the electrolyte. And so storage battery, so a battery comprised of one or more rechargeable cell, lead acid, nickel, cadmium, which can be rechargeable. Yan. So ito yung mga minimum clearance for light parts for our batteries. Yan. Okay. So now we go to chapter 5, special occupancies. So medyo madami-dami itong special occupancies, but kung ano yung nakalagay sa general provisions are all applicable sa lahat, no? Only ang highlight ko lang dito is yung pinagkaiba, no? Um, for each type of occupancies. Okay. So ito yung mga iba't ibang definition, no? Associated non-incentive field winding apparatus. So na-discuss ito sa chapter 1. Meron tayong combustible gas detection system, a protection technique utilizing stationary gas detectors. Gas ignition proof, no? Yung equipment na ang mismong dust niya will not create, no, arcs or will not permit sparks to create. Dust tight enclosures constructed so that dust will not enter under a specific test condition. Explosion proof, so ito hindi siya nakaano pag may explosion, so hindi niya inaano yung tawag doon, excluding the explosion. Hermetically sealed equipment, so sealed against the entrance of external atmosphere where the cell is made by fusion. So for example, soldering, brazing, welding, or fusion of glass and to metal, no? Oil immersion, so it is immersed in oil, no? So meron tayong purge and pressurize. Purge, so supplying an enclosure with a protective gas. Kapag um, with a sufficient flow and positive pressure to reduce the concentration of flammable gases. Kapag pressurization naman, no? Pressurization, supplying an enclosure with a protective gas with or without continuous flow at sufficient pressure to prevent ignitable gas, vapor, or any ignitable fiber to enter. So non-incentive circuit. So these are circuit that will not ignite, and non-incentive equipment that will not ignite. Then the references for this type of locations are ito, no? Ito yung pinagkunan ng ating PEC. The National Fire Protection Association, the American Petroleum Institute, the EPI, and the Instrumentation System and Automation Society or ISA. So this is the classification of the maximum surface temperature. So ito yung mga class code, no? So kapag T1, so that is 45 degrees Celsius ang maximum temperature. Ang pinakamababa is T6 at 85 degrees Celsius. So unahin natin yung hazardous location. So these are location depending on the properties of the flammable vapors, liquid or gases, or combustible dust or fibers that may be present. Okay, so unahin natin yung class 1 locations. So these locations, meron siyang present of flammable gases or vapor in air which is sufficient to produce explosive or ignitable mixture. So gases and vapor yung class 1. So class 1 division 1, so this is where ignitable concentration of your gases or vapors can exist. No? Existing of gas due to frequent repair or maintenance operation or because of leakage. Tapos pwede na magkaroon ng release of gas due to breakdown of your equipment. Ang class 1 division 2, this is for volatile flammable liquids or flammable gases are handled, no? So dito kasama sa process yung mga flammable liquids or gases. So yung sa 1 kasi are it could exist due to the process. Ito kasama sa process, yung division 2, no? Class 1 division 2. Ang class 2 naman na locations, presence of combustible dust. So class 2 division 1, so the dust are present under normal operation. So meron yang iba't ibang group, no? Class 2 naman division 2, so the presence of combustible dust due to abnormal operation, no? Yan yung class 2 division 2. Class 3 locations, presence of ignitable fibers or flaggings, no? So class 3 division 1, so kung saan part yung ating mga fiber, yung ignitable fiber sa process, no? Tabang yung class 3 division 2 is kung saan nakalagay, no? Or kung saan nakastore yung mga ignitable fibers, no? Okay. So material groups, so we have the MESG, the maximum experimental safe gap, and the MIC, the minimum igniting ratio, no? So yung maximum experimental safe gap, ito yung gap na in theory hindi siya mag-cause ng sparking, no? Habang yung minimum igniting current ratio, so ano yung current ratio to cause a certain ignitable material to ignite, no? So classification, so we have class 1 group classification. So group A natin acetylene, group B natin is for the flammable gas and flammable liquid produced vapor. The group C, so ganun pa rin but it has its different ratio, no, na the MIC ratio. Yung group D, so the MASG value is greater than 0.75%, yung ratio is greater than 0.8. Yan. So yung group E dito, so it belongs to class 2 na group classifications. So this is the atmosphere containing combustible metal, no? Metal dust. Habang ito namang group F is the carbonaceous dust, no? Yung dust na galing sa mga organic materials. Yung group G naman are combustible dust na hindi siya kasama dito sa E or F, including floor, grain, wood, plastic, and chemicals. Okay. So meron tayong mga zone, no? Class 1, zone 0, 1, and 2 locations. So type of protection, so pag encapsulation M, so includes the parts which could be ignite atmosphere by sparking or heating, no? Yung flame-proof naman D, no? Kapag increase safety, dapat E na yung nakalagay. Intrinsic safety, so any spark will cause ignition kapag oil immerse O. So because of the oil, then there is an ignition, no? Galing sa spark natin, so pwedeng lumiyab yung oil. Okay, so powder filling, so from the powders na either that is due to glass or quartz, no? Tapos type of protection, either that is fire resistant or heat resistant. Yan. Okay, so classification, so class 1 zone 0, ignitable concentration of flammable gases, no? Gases pa rin kapag class 1. Zone 1 naman is concentration of flammable vapors may exist under normal conditions. Okay, class 1 zone 2, So ignitable concentrations of gas are not likely to occur under normal condition, but it may occur at a short period of time. Okay, so if sa ating equipment, so dapat nakalagay doon yung zone marking niya, especially if our equipment will be used on hazardous location. So anong class, anong zone, the symbol, the protection techniques, the applicable gas classification, tapos yung temperature classification. Yan, ito. So for example, the area classification, so class 1, zone 0, the symbol, so that is American standard kapag ito yung ginamit. Tapos IE, the type of protection, no? Tapos yung IIZ, so that is the glass group, so not required, no? So, hindi siya required uh, if papasok siya dito ng condition. Tapos the temperature classification T6, so this is 85 degrees Celsius. Yan. Okay, so types of protection designation, so ito. So IE is associated para na apparatus, no? Okay. Okay, so we have also zone 20, 21, and 22. Ibig sabihin ng zone 20, that is class 2, zone 0, no? So these are also for ignitable fibers, no? Kapag class 2 na mga locations. Okay, then we have also healthcare facilities, yun, yung mga hospital, no? So dapat yung healthcare facilities must have an alternate power source, so that is for emergency purposes. Ambulatory healthcare facilities, a building or part of used to provide service or treatment to 4 or more patients at the same time. So this is usually what we called as the emergency room, no? Yung may emergency doon papasok agad. So that is the ambulatory healthcare facilities. The critical branch are the considered part of the healthcare facilities na kung saan critical, no? The operating room, the emergency room, yung mga ganon. So that is the critical part or critical branch. Then the electrical life support equipment, any equipment that is powered by electricity that is used to maintain the patient's life. Then the emergency system is a system uh, intended, no, to supply alternate power to our tawag doon sa ating hospital, no, in case there is a power outage from our distribution utility. Habang yung healthcare facilities naman, no, are buildings or portion of building in which medical, dental, psychiatric, nursing, obstetrical or surgical care are provided. In short, this is the proper term for hospital. That is the healthcare facility. Okay. So ito yung hospital, no? So the hospital, so an specific term na nagpo-provide ng 24-hour service, no? So the isolation transformer, so this is a transformer that used to isolate, no, the different parts of your system. If patient vicinity, so ito yung kung saan nakalagay ating patients. So typically a patient room is an enclosed space within the room not less than 1/8 mm beyond the perimeter of the bed, no? Yan. Okay. Then the general care area, so yung iba't ibang area ng ating healthcare facility, the patient bed location. So it shall be supplied at least 2 branch circuit. One for emergency system and other for the normal system. So may dalawa siyang may tigda dalawang branch circuit, no? Yung ating patient bed location. Now, patient bed location receptacle, ganun pa rin. With 4 receptacles in the single or duplex na mayroong pang emergency, mayroong pang normal condition. Pediatric locations, so receptacles located with the rooms, bathroom, playrooms, activity rooms, and patient care areas of the pediatric ward shall be listed tamper resistant. What do you mean tamper resistant? Yung kaniyang mismong outlet, hindi siya pwedeng basta-basta lang buksan, no? May takip yung mga outlet, may takip yung mga receptacles. So that is to prevent accidental conduct, especially for the toddlers, no, yung mga bata. Okay, so critical care facilities, so patient bed location branch circuit, ganun pa rin. Must have 2 branch circuit for emergency and normal. Then yung mayroon siyang at least 1, no? emergency system for the mismong outlet, no, at the bed location. Then patient bed location receptacle, so 6 receptacle unlisted hospital grade. Patient vicinity grounding and banding, so yung banding yung grounding ng ating mga patient bed must be not smaller than 5.5 square mm or 2.6 in diameter. Okay, special purpose receptacle grounding, so this is for the X-ray. Tapos maintain GFCI, no, for all medical equipment, no, must have an GFCI. Tapos transfer switch, this is located on the power room, no, or the electrical room of our hospital. That is to transfer, no, the power from emergency to normal and vice versa. Okay, then the illumination, no. So dapat yung ating mga critical branch must be readily yung yung tama yung kanyang illumination, no. So yung mga critical areas that utilize anesthetizing gases, no? Tapos pati yung mga sa operating room, doon sa emergency room, it must be properly lighted, no? Okay. Itong mga blood, bone, and tissue banks. Yan. Okay. Then we have also another type of special occupancies, the assembly occupancies. So multiple occupancies of any room or space with 100 persons or more. So if you have a function room na tawag doon na can accommodate 100 persons or more, so that is now considered as assembly occupancies, no? So at theatrical areas, so ito yung mga sinihan. So there are any building, structure, or portion thereof contains a projection booth or stage or area for the presentation of uh, theatrical or musical production. So ito yung mga list ng mga assembly occupancies. Yan. Okay. So the temporary wiring, so if there is a temporary wiring for this type of occupancies, so it must be properly laid on the floors, no? Then the wiring in general, so the fixed wiring method shall be metal raceways, flexible metal raceways, non-metallic raceways, encased in not less than 50 mm of concrete, type MI, type MC, or AC cable with an insulated EGC or equipment grounding conductor. Okay. So theaters, audience areas of motion picture, television studios, performance area, and similar locations, no? So another types of special occupancies, no? Ito yung mga niya, definition of terms. So border light, no? So yung mga lighting dun sa ating mga studio, the breakout assembly. Kapag yung conductor natin is naka-bundle, the connector strip, no? A metal wireway containing pendant or flash receptacle. So the drop box is for the pendant, no? It will contain the pendant. Footlight is the light installed on or in the stage, no? Performance area is where the the performers, no, or yung mga tao will be performing, no. Then portable equipment is any equipment that is portable, no, intended to be moved from one place to another. Kapag portable distribution unit naman, a power distribution and overcurrent devices. Kapag proscenium, so that is the wall and arc that separates the stage from the auditorium. So stand lamp or work light, no? This is used for in working, especially doon sa mga tawag doon, the general illumination doon sa ating stage. Strip light is made of multiple lamps arranged in a row. Two pair, that is an adapter cable containing one male plug and two female cord connectors used to connect two loads to one branch circuit. Yan. So the wiring methods, it must be fixed, no? Ganun pa rin, 50 mm in concrete. For the dressing room, so pendant lamp holder shall not be installed in dressing room. Yung mga nakalawit lang na mga lamp holders, hindi pwede lang. Tapos yung lamp guard natin, you must provide guard lamps, no? So dapat may takip na may takip yung ating mga lamps, no? If it if the height of the lamp falls below 2,400 mm. Switch is required, so each light must be given a switch, no? Then carnivals, circuses, fairs, and similar events. So overhead conductors and clearances. So amusement rides and amusement attraction shall be maintained not less than 415 away in any direction from overhead conductors which are rated 600 or nominal or less. Tapos my disconnecting means shall be within 1,800 mm of the operator station. Tapos if we have a portable distribution or terminal box, so it must be not less than 150 mm from the ground, no? That is to prevent it from moisture or maring mabasa if our ground are wet, no? Motion pictures and motion picture and television studios and similar location. So we have this yung mga definition ng kanya same lang din yung kanina. So the ball switch is an externally operated wall switch which that may or may not contain overcurrent protection and is designed for the connection of portable cables. The location board or deuce board. So this is a portable equipment containing a lighting contactor or contactors and overcurrent protection designed for remote control of stage lighting. Yan. So yung plugging box naman natin is a DC device consisting of two or more two-pole, two-wire, non-polarized, non-grounding type receptacle intended to be used for DC circuit only. So yung plugging box is for DC circuit na, no? Okay? So permanent wiring natin. So kapag permanent wiring, type MC or type AC cable shall be used, no, containing equipment grounding. Okay, motion picture projection rooms. So if we will have a projector, ang tawag dyan is professional projector. So a type of projector using 35 or 75 mm film that has a minimum width of 35 mm. No? So the workspace, so not less than 800 mm wide on each side at the rear thereof. No? Conductor size, so the conductor supplying outlets of arc and xenon projectors of the professional type shall not be smaller than the rated, no? Yung rated niya na tawag doon na mm, no? Okay, did mobile homes, manufactured homes, and mobile parks, no? So itong mga standard nito sa mobile homes, wala naman kasi tayo tinatawag na mga trailers, no? The mobile homes. So usually it is applicable lang talaga sa US, no? But nonetheless, we also adopted this standard, no? So manufactured homes are structure that is transportable, no? Pwede mo siyang ilipat. That is 240 mm or more in width and 12 meters or more in length. Tapos yung mobile home naman, a factory assembled structure or structures transportable one or more section that is built on a permanent chassis, no? So para siyang trailer na style. Yan. Okay, mobile home shall not intended as dwelling unit. So hindi siya pwedeng tawaging bahay. No, it is just a temporary living quarters. Okay, no? So the power feeder, so not more than one listed 50 amperes mobile home power supply cord. No, isa lang ang kanyang supply. The attachment plug, ito yung mga attachment plug na rating niya. The overall length of a power supply cord shall not be less than 6,400 mm and shall not exceed, no, the length, 11 meters na length. Okay? So ito yung klase ng mga plug, no, for the mobile homes. Okay, the marking, so the power supply cord shall bear the marking for use with mobile homes 40 amperes or for use with mobile homes 50 amperes. So the point of entrance shall be on the exterior wall or the roof and shall be protected. At least the minimum size or thickness is 30 mm. Okay, so ito yung mga demand factor for the mobile homes, no? So nakadepende if ilan yung mobile homes mo, yan din yung demand factor. Then we have the recreational vehicles and vehicle parks, no? Kung saan pinapark yung mga recreational vehicles, no? So type of unit, yung ating recreational vehicle which is primarily designed as temporary living quarters for recreational or camping. Kung saan siya nakapark, yun yung recreational vehicle park. So any plot or any portion of a LAN, no? So ang means of connecting to power supply is still a cord, which shall have a minimum of 760 mm where the point of entrance, and shall be minimum length of 9,000 mm where the point of entrance is at the rear of the vehicle. So ito yung mga attachment plug na pwede, no? The configuration. So tapos may label siya. So the connection is for yung voltage, ilang pole, ilang wire, tapos yung kanyang ampere, no? The location shall be located within 450 mm of the rear of the left roadside of the rear, left of the center of the vehicle. So within 460 mm from the outside wall. Floating building, no? So yung mga floating cottages, yan. So shall be located adjacent to but not in or on the building or any floating structure. The feeder conductors, so each floating building shall be supplied by a single set of conductor from its service equipment. Yan. So ito yung demand factors niya, no? Then marinas and boat yards, yung ating mga tawag doon, mga pier, no? Yung paggawaan ng mga barko, no? So the electrical datum plane, ito yung level for the level on ground. So horizontal must be 600 mm above. Kapag naman, the electrical datum plane for floating piers and landing stages are the following. So installed to permit rise and fall response level. So depending on the tide, yung kanyang horizontal is 800 mm above or a minimum of 300 mm. Ito yung demand factor for marinas and boat yards. Yan. Okay, so now we will have some multiple choice question o galing dito sa chapter 4 and 5. Okay, so if you are still with me, so you could put your answers on our chat box. Okay, so number 1, what is the minimum allowable size for fixture luminaire wires according to the provided standards or according to the code? So is 8.5 square mm, 1 square mm, 0.75 or 1.5? Okay, so the correct answer is letter C, no? 0.75 square mm or 1.2 mm in diameter. Okay, next. How should the thermoplastic insulated fixture luminaire wire be marked according to the standards? Alin dito, no? Yung tamang sagot. Okay, sir is letter B, no? It should be marked with a printed tag attached to the reel or to the coil. Okay, next. What is the required thickness for ferrous metal face plates according to the standard? No, yung minimum thickness ng ating face plate if that is ferrous material or cast iron. Okay, so the correct answer is letter B, no? 0.75 mm. Next, under what condition can faceplate made of insulating material be permitted to be less than 0.25 mm thick according to the standard? So, alin dito? Okay, so the correct answer is letter B, no? If they are formed or reinforced to provide adequate mechanical strength. Okay, next. According to the standard, what is the minimum size requirement for pendant conductor used in intermediate or candelabra base lamp holders. Okay, so the correct answer for this one is letter B, no, 1.0 square mm. Okay, next. What is the primary purpose of a single pole separable connector? Okay, so the correct answer is letter C, no? To establish a connection between the single cable and the panel-mounted separable connector. Okay, next. What is the primary function of a hermetic refrigerant compressor? Okay, so the correct answer for this one is letter B, no? To house both the compressor and motor in the same enclosure without external shafts or seals. Okay, next. What defines the electrical datum plane in areas subject to tidal fluctuation? So yung nagbago-bago yung height ng ating horizontal electrical datum plane dahil sa tides. So alin dito yung tamang sukat, no? From the water level. Okay. So the correct answer for this one is letter B, no? So horizontal plane 600 mm above the highest tide level. Okay. Next, what characterizes class 1 division 1 location? So, alin dito? Yung nagdi-describe for class 1 division 1 location. Okay, so the correct answer is ignitable concentration of flammable gases or vapors can exist. Okay, next. According to the code, what characterizes uh, the- the- theoretical areas? Theoretical areas. And dyan, masasabi natin for theoretical areas. Okay, the correct answer is letter B, space that contains a projection booth or stage. Yan. Okay, next. What define a multiple occupancy according to the code? Okay, so the correct answer is letter B, no? If that is occupied by 100 persons or more. Okay, next. According to the standard, what is the required time for residual voltage in a capacitor to be reduced to 50 volts nominal or less after disconnecting it from the source? Okay, so the correct answer is letter B, 1 minute. No, so this is for 600 volts nominal voltage. No? Kapag over 600 volts, so that is 5 minutes na. So what is the is it 100%, 125, 135, or 150%? Okay. So the correct answer for this one is letter. Kapag capacitor, that is letter C. Capacitor are always 135% of the rated current. Okay. Next. What is the maximum over or length permitted for a power supply cord for mobile homes according to the standards? So for mobile homes, ano yung maximum length? So the minimum of that one is 760 mm. What is the maximum? Okay. So the correct answer is letter C, 11 meters. Okay. Next, what type of attachment plug is required for the use with a 50 ampere 250 volts slash 125 receptacle in mobile homes as specified by the standards. So ito, ganda video na gloss ko lang to kanina. No? Hindi ko masyadong na ano to kanina. But the correct answer for this one is letter C. 3-pole 4-wire grounding type. No? Okay, next. What is the minimum clearance required between amusement rides and overhead conductors rated 600 volts or higher as per the standards? So yung ano, clearance no mula sa pinaka-top ng rides tapos sa ano, conductors or sa wire na dadaan doon. Ano yung minimum clearance? Okay, so the correct answer for this one is letter B, 4.5 meters. Yan. Okay. Next. According to the safety standards, where should the fuse disconnect switch or circuit breaker be located for each ride and concession at a carnival or fair? Yan. Then dito, no? Okay. So the correct answer is letter C, within 180 mm of the operator's station. Next, what type of generator is required to be protected from overloads by inherent design, circuit breakers, fuses, etc.? So, yung type ng generator according to the code na dapat ganyan yung kanyang protection. Okay, so the correct answer is constant voltage generators. Yan. Next, how many overcurrent protection device are required for 3-wire DC generator, whether compound or shot wound? Okay, so the correct answer is letter C, one protection device for each field lead. So isang protection no, for each lead ng inyong motor. Okay? What is the purpose of a drop box in a lighting system? So ano yung purpose ng drop box? Okay, so the correct answer for this one is letter B, no, to connect multiple individual branch circuit connectors to a single multiple pole connector. Okay, next. How are cables on conductors described when they are placed adjacent to one another but not in continuous contact? So, alin ito yung tama? Is it bundled, group, integrated, or stranded? Okay, so the correct answer is B, no? Naka-group lang sila, no? Group. Okay, next. What characterize a Class 2 Division 1 location according to the standards? So ito, Class 2 Division 1. Alin dito? Okay, so the correct answer is letter D, combustible dust in the air under normal conditions. Yan. Okay, next. According to the standard, so what is the minimum clearance between amusement rides and overhead conductors that are rated 600 volts or higher? Kanina is only 600 volts. What if 600 volts or higher? Ilang meters yung conductor from the maximum height of a amusement ride? Okay, so the correct answer is letter C, 4.5 meters ang minimum. Okay, next. Where should the fuse disconnect switch or circuit breaker be located for each ride? Tapos na pala ito, no? This 180 mm, no? Yan. So, why are pendant lamp holders not installed in dressing rooms according to the standards? So, bakit walang pendant or bakit walang hanging na mga lights in dressing rooms? Ano yung pinakarason according to the standards? Okay, so the correct answer is for safety and to prevent obstructions. Okay, next. According to the standards, how should switch for lights and receptacles in dressing room be indicated when they are energized? Okay, no? Yung pinakamahaba yung sagot, no? Letter C, by a pilot light that indicates that the dressing room is being used, no? Na makikita doon sa labas, no? Sa adjacent door. Okay? Next, what percent of the current is used as a thermal protector setting for a motor with a full load current greater than 20 amperes? So, alin dito ang kanyang percent, no? Percent or the demand factor. According to the standard, what is the primary purpose of thermal protector that is integral with a motor? So, bakit meron kang thermal protector? Okay, so the correct answer is letter C, to protect the motor against damage due to failure to start. No, yung nafe-fail siya start, no, hindi niya naabot yung kanyang required torque, so nag-iinit yan. So if you have a thermal protector, it will just automatically cut off the supply para hindi masunog yung winding. So that is separate to a term overload protector. Yung thermal kasi is yung mismong heat, no, nang doon sa ating motor, yung kanyang inaano. Okay. Which of the following best describe a professional projector? Alin dyan? That will best describe a professional projector. 140, no, for the thermal protection rating. Okay. The correct answer is letter B, no? A projector that uses 35 mm or 70 mm film with 212 perforations per meter. Okay. What is the minimum length of a cord for a vehicle's point of entrance at the side of the vehicle? So this is for recreational vehicles, no? home vehicles. So ano yung minimum length ng kanyang cord? Okay. The correct answer is letter B, no? 760 mm. Yan. Okay, so ang maximum dito is D is 9,000 mm. Okay? Yan. So I believe, no? Yan na yung ating discussion for this evening. So I hope na may natutunan kayo sa ating discussion for this evening. So the recording of this one, no? Minimum po, no? The minimum yung 760, max